Hi, this is your host, Laura Powers, and I'm so pleased to have Wendy Myers on the show. She's the coach at myersdetox.com. You have probably heard Wendy several times on the show. If you've been listening for a while, she's been a guest repeated times talking about heavy metal detox, health, 5G, and a lot of different things. Thanks so much for coming back. We're going to be doing something a little different, which is a live reading. So thanks for coming and playing with me today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Yeah, I've actually personally coached with you before. I've done readings with you
hmm
before, so I was more than happy to, come on your show to show people what it's like.
Amazing. I love it. All right. So I'm just going to just dive right in. So I'm going to call on Wendy's angels and guides and my angels and guides, as well as Archangel Michael, Archangel Ariel, Haniel, Zadkiel, Shamuel, Gabriel, Uriel, Jophiel, Azrael, Metatron, as well as any angelic guide can assist. Please make sure this is a safe space, increase clairvoyance and psychic ability, and make sure that whatever comes through is the highest good. Wendy, can you say your full name for me 3 times, please?
Yes, Wendy Laura Myers, Wendy Laura Myers, Wendy Laura Myers.
Forgot your middle name was Laura. Very
Yeah.
close to Laura. Very cool. All right. So we chit-chatted a little bit before about different things to look at. So I'll be checking in on those things. And then Wendy, just feel free to jump in if other things come up as we do the reading, or if you have, questions about anything that they're sharing with you today. All right. So angels and guides would love information that would be helpful for Wendy today. Okay, so the first thing they're showing is you are such a giver. Like, you have so much energy, and they show that a lot of your energy goes outwards. Like, I'm being shown it's like almost all like these like arrows going out to other people. And they just are bringing that up just because it's important for you to pay attention to that and make sure that you are receiving at an equal level. And getting that's one of your big challenges as a soul, is like the pattern of giving, over giving, focusing more on other people's needs versus your own. And that's coming up on a karmic level. And I'm getting it's really important right now, especially in regards to coronavirus and just this crisis that's happening, because there are a lot of people that are in struggle, and it just feels like, oh my gosh, there's people need so much kind of this feeling or desire to give to so many people. And it's just that thing that probably most of us have heard many times at this point. It's just really important that we don't overgive, because then we get depleted. We end up having nothing to give anyway, and nothing for ourselves. And on a soul level, it looks like it's harder for you to receive. There's definitely some beliefs, patterns, messaging associating like your value with what you do for others, meaning like your value being tied in with what you do for others, instead of like, oh, you're just inherently, beautiful, valuable, wonderful Wendy, regardless of what you do for other people. So something to pay attention to just kind of catch yourself in that pattern when you are, giving, over giving, not receiving. And it looks like there are certain people in your life where, it would be advantageous to step back, release, where that pattern is very one-sided of, giving instead of, giving, receiving. And in many cases, you've given so much in one area that even if you were to just receive for a while, only then would it become balanced. Does that make sense? Or do you have any questions about that, or particular situations in which that might manifest, or how to shift it?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I've always, even a little kid, just been giving, 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 and you get to a point where almost you can get angry or resentful
Yes.
when you're doing that so much, and you're depleted, and I definitely want to kind of, and I love that part of myself, but I also need to be more protective and mindful of my own boundaries to protect my energy and my own happiness ultimately.
Yeah. And the guys are telling me when you get angry, that is definitely a sign like, oh, I need to step back. I've given too much to assess who and where your energy is going. And then also just, wow, I just really need to focus on me for a while. And I feel like, again, now during this coronavirus, it's more important than ever that we do self-care, because especially if you're empathic, which you are empathic, that means taking on other people's energy and feeling that everyone's going through this immense, it's really a trauma, this intense trauma that we're collectively going through. And so we absolutely need to take care of ourselves. Again, if we don't take care of ourselves, we don't have anything to give anyway.
Yes,
So like
yeah.
I was at the UPS store because I had an Amazon return the other day, and I almost like lost it at this woman. And I was like, okay, I need to go and like meditate and chill out because that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, just
Yeah.
as a story for myself, but it was also something we're going through. But I'm getting for you when you get angry, frustrated. It's not always that you're angry at the person where you're overgiving. It's just more like I'm getting just kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, where it's just like something. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
suddenly this is too much. Taking on too much.
Yeah, and I think I feel that way with my boyfriend, where I'm giving, and I'm not really getting maybe what I want. I think he gives a lot, but maybe it's not what I'm wanting.
Mm-hmm.
In his mind, he's working nonstop all day long to do things for me. But I think it's maybe sweet, but not really like an equal contribution.
Okay. All right. So let me take a look at that. I know that's one of the things you wanted to look at. So, Angels and Guides, what can you share about Wendy's relationship with her boyfriend? Yeah. One of the things I'm being shown is that it's not even just about the physical things that are being done, because I do see that quite a bit of your energy goes to him. So
Yeah.
part of this is like almost in an energy level where you're like, oh, I'm exhausted. Can't you, kind of contribute? But the thing is, people are in the energy patterns they're in. And, one of the things that empaths will frequently do is try to like shift the other person's pattern instead of being like, oh, wait, I just need to shift what I'm doing. And then either that relationship will shift or it just won't align anymore, one or the other. But empaths as a whole tend to try to focus on healing another person's patterns instead of addressing our own pattern, and then honoring that there's something in us that is contributing.
Yeah, I mean, I chose the person, I'm
Mhm.
participating in it, and I have been focusing more on myself and
Good.
clearing trauma, clearing my energy, balancing myself, and that will give me my answer if it's still in alignment with me. So I'm kind of going through that process right now.
Okay, let
I
me.
kind of feel like if you have to ask the question, you already know the answer. If
Yeah, a
it's
lot of
like
times that is the case. Yeah.
if it's the right relationship for you.
Yeah, one of the dynamics I'm being shown with him is for some reason it feels that you do have a hard time expressing what you want, feel, need, using your voice. There's a little bit of like suppression happening in your vocal chakra as it relates to your relationship, and a sense of maybe not feeling like you can say what you really want, feel, or need. And I'm getting that you're working on shifting through that, and you're getting better about it, but there's still a little bit about that. So let me ask the angels what could help shift that. Yeah, I'm getting it's important for you to be very clear and specific in terms of what you want, so that there can be no question. So sometimes the getting it's more of like a feeling, but if you can really put into terms, and then if determine what are your kind of deal breakers. What is it that is this is so important to me that this has to be honored, and if not, I just can't move on. And then really honor that, because I'm getting sometimes in relationships, boyfriend or other people as well, that sometimes you're like have something that feels like it should be a deal breaker, but you're kind of like fudged, and you're like, well, you kind of like let things slide in
Yeah, I
terms
think
of
there's
what
a
you
lot of
allow.
fear and energy with
Mm-hmm.
making such a big decision, especially given the coronavirus and lockdown. Like, who wants to be alone
Oh,
with this
right.
going
Yeah.
on? So like maybe the cure is worse than the disease. So I think part of me feels like I probably need to move on, but I don't want to at the moment given the environment.
Okay, so let me check on that as a general topic. Well, I definitely feel that you're having a lot of kind of fear energy in your heart chakra, and it really feels like it's not yours. One of the things they're sharing with me about you, because you're an empath, is that your actual energy is very positive, very optimistic, very secure, and just confident. That's just Wendy, like true soul essence. And so if you ever get wrapped into fear, anxiety, that's not yours. You're manifesting that, pulling that in from other people, and then it's like getting stuck in your energy field. So meditation, things that clear your energy, like saunas, detoxes, one of those things that also clears your energy field is really important, because it's not your energy. And just if you could just kind of catch yourself anytime you're getting caught into that kind of fear, anxiety pattern, to just be like, wait, release. I need to release. I need to do some self-care. This isn't truly my approach. This isn't truly my thought. This isn't truly my energy. It's something I have to constantly catch myself with, because I'm super empathic and there's so much fear and anxiety right now. It's just like just soaking it all in.
Oh yeah, I do a lot of energy work. I work with a couple different people, including yourself, to kind of
Yeah.
just clear off that collective fear that so many
Yeah.
people are dealing with right now.
So
And
massive.
I've kind of done with any fear. I'm done. But I do like biofield tuning also, that
Mm,
helps to clear trauma and stuff out of your energy field too. So I have a number of different techniques. So
good.
yeah, I think it's a big thing a lot of people aren't aware of. Like, our thoughts and feelings aren't always our own.
Oh yeah, it's huge, especially for empaths and like everyone as a whole. So yeah, I'm definitely getting from the guys that you've been, doing a lot of work on this area, and it is making a difference. And just to keep working on it, and then just to keep reminding, if you ever get caught up in fear, stress, like especially I'm getting like financial society breakdown kind of fear.
Yeah.
That's not yours. That's definitely something that you're manifesting from others. Because I'm getting, whatever is happening with a society, wherever we're in, whatever we're experiencing, really has more to do with what is happening with us versus the collective. Like, yes, we're absolutely a part of the whole, and we are impacted, but depending on a person, their karma, their energy, they can still, like, you can have someone that actually does very well during an economic downturn,
Yeah.
or a disaster, whatever. So it's more about your own, personal energy patterns, beliefs, what you're manifesting creative, versus like whatever is happening with the whole doesn't have to be what happens to you. So just keep reminding yourself that whenever you get in that, because I'm getting, you actually have the potential to shift even higher than you have been before, even though as a whole, a lot of people are shifting, kind of quote unquote down in terms of, the sort of traditional metrics of economy and everything. So basically, whenever you get caught up in this, everything's going down, like, again, that doesn't have to be true for you. Just like you're not normally stressed or anxiety ridden, you're normally a very positive, optimistic person. One of the things I'm getting in regards to all this, though, is just to really be aware of the pattern of trying to like save others from whatever, health issues, societal kind of issues or patterns, because they're showing you that's a lot of your energy is going to people. Not that it's directly going to people on purpose, but it's more like you want to save people from their pain and suffering. And a lot of it has to do with lessons. So let's say, people learning about their health or whatever, whenever we have something that we're in pain or struggling with, there's a lesson associated with that. And if we try to remove or shift that before that person has associated with that or figured out that lesson, whatever a lesson is associated, we actually can kind of slow down their progress.
Yeah.
Just to keep kind of reminding yourself, oh, if that person has that pain or struggle, there's a lesson they're learning, and it's not my job to personally remove that for them. Like, they have to figure that out on their own. So it's more for you about modeling versus fixing yourself. Like, model for people how to do it versus fixing them or trying to fix them.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think I probably spend a lot of time on social media, trying, spending my energy
Yes.
and
Yep.
resources,
Yes.
trying to like teach people things that they aren't ready to
Yes.
hear or embrace. So
And one of the
I have to stop doing that.
and I think this is very common, but especially for those of us here that are, healers, teachers, helpers. And I think the key is to learn, when it is that it's helpful and when it's just damaging for ourselves and others. Because if it's damaging for ourselves, it's actually damaging for others. And that's a really good kind of reminder. If you feel depleted, it shows that you're overgiving, and because that means you're trying to help someone who's not ready to heal.
Yeah.
Right. And that's when you feel depleted, is when it's just like too much. So in terms of social media, I'm getting really reduced the amount of time that you're spending on there. and just turn that into, okay, what is it that is going to make me feel good, self-care. And also I'm just getting for you creativity, like fun creativity, things that you just bring you joy. So just relaxing activities, being in nature, just relaxing. They're showing me you work so much, like you're sort of naturally wired to be kind of a workaholic.
Oh,
and
yes. I
and
love
you
my work. I love it.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with loving your work, but at the same time you can still take time for yourself. And you're also, things are so effortless for you compared to a lot of people. Like you do so much. And so there's a part of you just like, well, I should just do more because this is easy for me. Instead of like just honoring, what it is that you want to do just for fun, for the enjoyment of life. Any questions about any of that that's coming up?
No, no, it makes perfect sense. And it's all stuff I'm kind of I'm thinking about all of these things right now and just, trying to make the best decisions for myself and not make decisions out of fear or out of
Yeah.
decisions for the current environment. And I feel like I did that in a way because I was living in Huntington Beach. I loved where I was living. I loved my home. I was very
Yeah.
settled. And then all of a sudden, my boyfriend was kind of in a panic about, like, we have to leave California, like all this stuff is going on, and we need to. And I think he wants to live on a farm, on a ranch that's here in Texas that my mom has, and so I think I just convinced myself to move here to save money, and maybe we need to grow our own food, and what's going on with the economy, and it's not necessarily what I really want down deep in my soul to live on a ranch in Texas. But I'm
Right.
here, I'm here nonetheless, and just trying to figure out, is this really where I want to stay and grow roots, or move to
Okay.
Hawaii?
Yeah. Okay, great. Let me take a look. Okay, so angels and guides. What about location for Wendy moving forward? Yeah. So I'm getting there are elements of your situation in Texas which are appealing. You would like to have more land, kind of more nature. So that part's good, but I'm getting the overall kind of energy fit isn't the best. Like it does feel a bit heavy for you to be there longer term. And I am getting that there was, getting pulled into that fear and one of the patterns coming up with the whole situation is you putting someone else's needs, wants above your own. So in this case, your boyfriend, wanting to go. And the other pieces associated with that is not trusting yourself, not trusting your own knowledge and decisions. And there's almost an inherent, especially it looks like with men, where you inherently trust a man's kind of decision making or ability to think through something more than your own. But you're starting to question that, be like, wait a second. I can trust myself. So I don't feel like it's a great long-term fit for you to be in Texas permanently, but I'm getting it maybe kind of a little base for you, but it feels heavy to be there kind of permanently long-term. And when we check, California still feels good for you. California feels good for you, and Hawaii does too. I'm also getting to open the possibility that you have more than one location that's yours, like to expand and allow yourself to have more than one home and more than one place, and you don't have to just choose one location.
I was thinking that too. I'll have maybe, because I'm going to inherit this ranch one day, and I
Yeah,
was thinking maybe I'll build a house there, but I don't always have to be there. My
yeah,
main residence can be somewhere else, like, because I've always wanted to move to Hawaii.
yeah. That feels good for you to have Texas as like, this is a place maybe I come for a retreat periodically, or and you have a presence there, but I don't feel like living there full time feels aligned for you, at least not right now, maybe at some point. But yeah, LA feels good. LA feels really good for your business. And I feel like or I should say LA, I'm just talking about this whole LA Orange County
Yeah.
area. Um, and then I definitely feel like you could have this kind of Hawaii, California thing happening. It's so easy to go back and forth there as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of was feeling the same thing too. I knew moving to Texas was a mistake, but I decided, well, at least I'll save money to buy a house temporarily if I'm not paying rent because I don't have any expenses here. It's kind of crazy. But there's cost in creativity and energy and
Yeah, it does feel like there's kind of this draining kind of feeling for you of just
yeah,
like
like
not having the vitality that you normally do.
or like
That
I feel like
you're,
there's there's certain confidence like going backwards, certain amount of confidence lost or not feeling super creative, feeling like
yeah,
I'm just not as like inspired or excited or happy, and that energy may translate and negatively affect my work is my concern.
yeah. So I'm just getting the guides. Don't think of it as making a mistake. It's just you're learning and something you're figuring out. But figuring out, oh, that this isn't something that you want, that's really valuable, right? So that's still a good thing. I'm getting, one of the things that could be a good shift for you in terms of this is, that you do have a place in Texas, but it looks like you were ready to shift through and let go of a lot of belongings that were kind of like you're associated with your old life or the old Wendy. And so this move can help you with, kind of shifting and releasing things that aren't aligned with you as well. And moving forward, you could have, a lighter load and, kind of get a new place with whatever furniture you really love and want, in that moment, for example. But yeah, I don't feel that you're um, going to be in Texas, like again, like living there full time for very long. It feels like honestly could be as soon as June or, not that. And by the way, I feel like there's going to be opening for coronavirus and, that's really going to shift a lot of how all of this feels for us, fairly quickly. Even though there's going to be restrictions for some time, it's not going to be the level that we've been experiencing.
Yeah, I feel that as well. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. One thing that's coming up to share is, there's a lot of concern for people within the, I guess health, especially alternative health community with people being shut down and kind of silenced. And that is something certainly to be aware of. But I'm also getting to tell you that when that happens, it's often because of that pattern that we were just talking about with people that are, giving too much and they're trying to help people that aren't ready to be helped.
Yeah.
And then it's like what happens is like there's this kind of rebound energy thing where those that are not ready kind of like energetically pull down that person. So just something to be aware in terms of your own messaging. And if you get pulled into this fear about that, it's just like, okay, that doesn't have to be true for me. And also, where can I step back and make sure that I'm not, giving too much of my energy trying to save, quote unquote, save people? Because the truth is, I don't feel like we really can save people because the people are in their pattern that they're in. And when they're ready to be, quote unquote, saved, they will basically save themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Or they
To a
seek out
level.
the information that they need, and that
Exactly.
doesn't have to come from you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So if you just find yourself in that pattern, just be like, wait, it's not my job to save everyone. I just need to kind of like, okay, I just need to react this energy back to myself. What is it that I need? What is it that I need to shift? Again, stepping back from social media as a whole and the news. And I've been saying this to everyone. This is not just relating to you. Everyone's getting, I think, that message. Just pull back. Because it's so funny. You will go outside and you walk outside and like plants are alive and everything's good. And then it's like, oh yeah, the sky's not falling, where
Yeah.
the world is good.
Yeah, totally. It's just this internal like dialogue on social media and your
Yes.
phone alerts, and you're like, actually, the
Yes.
world is kind of the same to a certain degree.
Yeah. One of the things coming up too is your work, and you are so good at what you do. I'm not getting that you not do that, but I'm getting more of a sense of expansion. You're so talented at, building business, educating, building a platform. And one of the things that's coming up is you're sharing that with people. And that's really needed right now because there's so many people that suddenly are starting something online or their job has gone away and they're trying to figure out what to do. So something to consider that could be a direction for you to help basically people become entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs shift their work. And that's something that is it's less about kind of saving, rescuing people and more about empowering people. So anything that you do where you're shifting more into like, how do I empower others to make changes for themselves is a good thing, including potentially consulting people with growing their businesses or teaching it somehow. Like you have so many amazing tools and things that you've done. that people could benefit. So just getting to say that as an option for you for, other income sources, other directions to consider.
Yeah, I thought that I do have a degree in entrepreneurship, and
Oh my gosh. Well, I didn't even know that. Well, there you go.
yeah, and
No wonder you're so good at it too.
yeah, from a USC business school, and I always thought maybe one day I might help people with their businesses and expand their businesses. And we touched on this. I created a coronavirus support series
Yeah.
that we touch on that as managing your money and starting new businesses, new ideas. I actually wanted you to talk about that on the
Yeah.
coronavirus
I think
support
we
series.
got scheduled and I need to reschedule. So we'll definitely make that
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. So it's something I'm kind of like touching on just a little bit, with trying to help people kind of reconfigure their life if they
Yeah.
have lost their job.
Yeah, that's a great place for you to focus. And yes, coronavirus, but just beyond that too, just people that are wanting to again start or grow business and how to do it in a smart way, an efficient way. Because like I said, they're showing me like you just start something, you're like, "Bloop, bloop," and you just kind of make it happen, and like it looks to a lot of people so effortless. And yes, you do put a lot of effort, but you also like know how to set up the systems and how to
Yeah.
not try to do everything yourself. And there's a lot of people that could use help and support in that.
Yes. Yeah. You cannot be a one-man army. They don't
No,
exist.
no, exactly, exactly. But I do see there's an element of you kind of stepping out from uh, trying to be the healer, the fixer, to just sharing your positive messages, whatever those are. So whether it's about health, whether it's about business, and just there's a shift I'm sensing in you in terms of what you're doing and how you're doing it, and it feels really good. It seems more about you, Wendy, coming forward and sharing like whatever it is that you want to share in a light and positive way, and it feels really, really good. I'm getting there's a lot of shifts that you're going through in terms of relationships too, where you're releasing people where that does feel like you're overgiving or you're not receiving enough, and just allow for that to happen and make room, for those that will come in and really energetically support you in the way that you want to be supported.
Yeah.
For us, like don't be in a fear about that. There's definitely lots of people that will be there for you.
Yeah, I definitely feel strongly about that. I think for a while I was very fearful about losing my current relationship.
Mm.
But I have zero fear at this
Yeah. Oh,
point.
good. That's
Because I
that's
just,
your true soul coming in. Just I'm getting your kind of true energy is very queenly. It's very assured. It's very confident, not egotistical, but just like, no, I'm good. I'm solid. And when you take on other people's energy, that's when you get into that like insecurity, fear. So yeah, just keep releasing that energy and just knowing like you're a queen.
yeah, because I
That's
know for me to do what I want to do, what
Mhm.
I'm destined to do, which is help other people, teach other people, I have to
Mhm.
be around positive people, and I have to let go people that are dragging me down. And this is personal business of people that just aren't, like you said, aren't ready. I have to let them go to keep, ascending to
Yeah.
do what I want to do and live my highest purpose.
Yeah. And again, just the guys are being pretty insistent about this. The best way that you can help people is to model it for them. So help by showing people how to do it. Teach them,
Yes.
give them the tools instead of, trying to heal, fix, or kind of shift them directly. And also when someone is really ready to heal and shift, they'll really come to the table. They'll want to hire you. They'll do their part. They'll give back as well. So just to really pay attention because a lot of people say they're ready, but they're not taking the actions. And the actions are the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm being shown like you're on the verge of like major positive shifts. Like it's funny because again, there's so much fear about everything happening. But I'm being shown for you, it's like you're about to like take like off like a rocket. Like all you're shifting and releasing all these patterns that have been holding you back, almost like they're anchors, holding you in place. And then when you release all those anchors, you're like, I don't want those anymore. And then you're just like, take off. So that's really amazing. So there's some anxiety that's coming up out of that because I'm getting one of your biggest fears is not actually a failure. It's actually like scared to be too big, too bright, too much for people. And the truth is, if you're too much for they're not your people, that there are those. And as you release those situations, beliefs, patterns that don't allow you to be as big as you want to be, then you make space for those who do, who completely love, support you, nurture you, can have, the biggest, most queenly version of Wendy that there is. Yeah,
Yeah.
so really good.
Oh, so there's like a fly here.
No
Yeah. And
worries.
it's, and I think also, like in my current relationship, you kind of mourn the loss of what could be. And I
Yeah,
think I end up staying in relationships longer than I should because I'm like, God, they're just, it just seemed like this could have been so good and so amazing and so fulfilling and it feels so good. And then there reaches a point where it doesn't,
yeah.
but it's still hard to let that go because you saw so much potential in
Hmm.
it, it's sad.
Yeah, it is. And it's totally acceptable to allow yourself to mourn. A lot of times it's like mourning the future that you thought you were going to have with a person or in a situation. So for me, when I went through my divorce, like honestly, the hardest part was mourning the loss of the future that I wasn't going to have. It wasn't even as much about the relationship, but like, oh my God, that version of me, that life that I was thinking was going to happen just isn't going to happen. And I had to mourn that for a while. I'm getting that's the case for you. And also, as you go along your path, you're also learning to see people as they are, because yes, there's always potential, but this is particularly a challenge for empaths where we tend to see the potential, the light, but not the dark, not a person's blocks. And so I'm getting you're starting to see that more clearly, and that's really going to help you in all areas of your life. And that's not coming from a place of judgment, but just from just kind of honoring and knowing what's likely, what's, really true in a situation. It's kind of like seeing things for what they are, not what we would wish them to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the good news is you're getting more confidence in yourself. So part of this is I'm getting you used to feel like you needed to bring in things into your life through other people. And now you're like, oh, I can just create it. I don't need whatever I thought I needed
Yeah. Yeah.
from other.
I strongly feel that for sure.
Yeah. So it is a bit sad, but also I'm getting there's so much goodness coming from you that it'll pretty quickly, as you shift and continue to release, feel less sad and you'll just feel more and more empowered. Because again, it's like anchors that you're releasing that allow you to rise up.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I'm getting to say though is, as you shift and release, be mindful of boundaries. Ask your angels for protections to help you during this shift, to be, safe and do all this in a healthy way. And also, if something isn't feeling aligned, you totally have the right to, leave quickly, easily, do, whatever you feel is the right thing for you to do. And I'm getting you have lots of support, you could use if you need to feel like you just kind of need to get away, figure out what you want in the bigger picture, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you had dogs, and I think they have since passed on. I'm getting it'd be great for you to have a dog again.
I do want another dog. The only reason I
Yeah,
want to get one is my boyfriend doesn't want one. but
yeah,
but yeah, I had two dogs and they passed away unfortunately last year or so. And but yeah, I would love another one.
yeah. So I'm getting this would be a good thing for you. It feels like you again, you uh, valuing what you want and not putting someone else's wants, needs, and desires
Yeah.
above your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like there's a particular dog that wants to come in and, is very close with you on a kind of energetic, spiritual level, and it would be very supportive of you and would help you with these shifts.
Hopefully it comes in a fluffy Pomeranian
Yes,
package.
that's what I see. It's like very much like your other dog. So yeah, yeah, very small, very loving, lots of energy. That's what I feel. Lots of energy and loving, very cute. And a dog that will work with you for your mobile lifestyle, that I feel like you're definitely gonna, once things open up, you'll be mobile and able to travel again.
I kind of felt like that too because all my belongings are here, and I felt like now I can just pick up and leave. I can rent a
Yeah,
furnished
that
place.
was
I don't have to drag all my stuff around. you
Yes,
know.
exactly. That's one of the good things about the situation in Texas is it allowed you to make that shift, and now you can be more mobile, move into places that are furnished or just buy whatever you need when you get there and just be very light and, just more easily travel and just kind of do what you want to do. In regards to relationship, I'm getting you know what you want and just to honor that. But I'm getting there's so many potential partners for you that are really ready to be there as a peer with you. It looks like in some of your older dynamics and patterns with relationships that it's not been a peer dynamic. And one of the things that I feel like this happens a lot with healers helpers is where there's like a man that seems like they kind of have it together, but maybe they have money or status or whatever. But really, the woman is the one who's like emotionally healing them or trying to shift the energy. And what I'm seeing now is you're ready for like, hey, can we just both be good and be amazing together? And
Yeah, where
that's
you
what I
potentiate each other rather than one person trying to bring the other one up.
yes,
That's what
exactly.
I
You're both just amazing and you just kind of contribute to each other's amazingness.
yeah, I
And
feel like that's what I was looking for. I was focusing a lot and manifesting that and visualizing that before my current relationship, and then I feel like I got duped
yeah,
to a certain degree, and fell for it, but knowingly fell for it to evade loneliness or feel that high of love, and but I'm fully aware of that.
yeah, I'm getting you're really psychic and you're learning to trust that more, trust your impression. So that a lot of it is there's, when things on the surface will seem a certain way. So like, oh, that person seems so together. And I can't tell you how many exes I have where I'm like, wow, they seem so together. And like, wow, are they such a mess? When
Yeah.
I really started to get into it. And so I'm getting uh, for you that you're going to be able to see more clearly and trust what you are seeing or sensing. And also, you're really empathic. So, one of the things I'm picking up on is whenever you feel insecure, if you're around a man or a potential partner, it's likely that you're picking up on their insecurity because you're a very secure, confident person. So, if you're ever starting to date someone you feel insecure, just be like, maybe
Run.
yeah, and also at least notice it, but definitely it's probably a sign that because when people are insecure, they're making fear-based decisions instead of
Hmm.
operating out of that, confidence and security,
Yeah.
etc.
Okay,
Yeah,
great. That's really good
yeah.
advice.
So just and also just learning to trust because I'm getting you're super psychic, so not just seeing the sort of illusion or whatever it is that someone's presenting you, but really, trusting what you feel, especially in your body when you're connecting with a
Yeah.
person.
Hmm.
And eventually that comes out, but when you pay attention to your intuition and what your body is telling you, what ends up happening is you just kind of fast forward through it. Like I remember, like I used to maybe have to spend several years in a relationship with someone to figure this stuff out, and now I'm like, oh, I don't even have to go to a date. I'm just like, look at you, okay, all right, no thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with my current relationship in the beginning,
Mhm.
I always felt this inner anxiety. Like from day one, I always felt like
Yeah,
this sense of anxiety or stress that I just ignored for some reason. I knew I was ignoring it. I knew I felt it,
yeah,
but I just chose to go for the ride anyways.
yeah. Well, a lot of times we have
Mhm.
karma with someone, and it's very hard to pull ourselves out of those patterns. It just feels like it's very familiar. It's very like comfortable in its uncomfortableness, if that makes sense, because
Yes.
it's like we know it on a soul level. Yeah. So just you've seen that pattern really clearly now. And again, if you just feel that, again, it could be someone who seems really together. Like I can't tell you how many like people I've dated where they had like tens of millions of dollars and were like the most insecure people that I've ever met. Like it's
Yeah.
just they seemed so together, but then I realized they weren't. So it's not about the sort of external, really focusing on the internal. How is their energy feeling? How do I feel when I'm around them? That really is going to tell you what you need to know.
Yeah, yeah. And I think also my mate and I, we have the same birthday. It's
Oh,
August 5. So we felt like we had some cosmic connection and I think that's kept us together for certain,
yeah,
for
yeah.
whatever reason.
I get it. I definitely feel soul connected with him. But just because we're soul connected, and the person doesn't mean that they're like our soulmate or that they're meant to be our partner. It just means we have a lot of history on a soul level with them. They're familiar. And a lot of times that familiarity very much has to do with lessons that we're learning. And we kind of agree to help each other, learn different lessons and work on these patterns together. So you can have a very loving association with a soul, but then the lessons that you're learning are very challenging with each other.
Yeah. And that I 100% resonate with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So ultimately the thing I'm getting is, trust your heart, what you want to do, really pay attention to how you feel. And you're a total rock star. When you are really in your energy, you actually are comfortable and feel really good on your own. So if you're feeling like, oh my God, I need to have a partner, that's, again, focus on clearing your energy, shifting, doing self-care, nurturing. Now, you can totally have an amazing partner. I'm not saying not to want that or want to bring that in, but your true personality, soul, essence is very confident and comfortable all by yourself as well.
Oh yeah, I enjoy my company. I don't have to be around other people. And
Yeah.
I was fine being alone, but I chose to be alone for a year and a half to be focused on my daughter. Because,
Yeah.
when you're with someone else, that energy is taken from your child and invested in that other person. I didn't want that for a while, but after a year and a half, I was getting lonely.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. So just, again, I get it. It would be good for you to spend at least a little bit of time solo to just kind of shift
yeah.
and kind of come back to your, own true energy. And then just honor that you can also just have fun. You don't have to be in a solo partnered relationship right away either. Just allow whatever feels good for you to manifest, and just keep really paying attention to your body and how you feel emotionally. That's I'm getting super key. But I'm getting for the next, let's see, feels like 3 to 6 months. It's a really good time to focus on you, creating the life that you ultimately want to create, shifting your business to what you want to create. And then as you get to more where you want to go, I feel like various potential partners, if you decide to split, will come in, and you're going to there'll be a plethora of choice should you allow yourself to
wait. Yay. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, it's been so fun. Anything else you'd like to ask while we're
No, I think, I got my answers, and it's funny. It's like, if you have to ask the question, you already know the answer. And I kind of already knew that stuff, but you're always kind of like, you kind of think, do I need to go with how I feel, or do I need to go with something practical or sacrifice? And I think a lot of us kind of come from this position right now of lack, where we're concerned about money. We want to stop spending money, maybe not making plans that we want to make because it's the responsible thing to do or whatnot. And so
it's all the messaging we get too right now is all about that.
There's programming. A lot of it's programming.
Yeah.
And this thread is not as big as it's made out to be in the media. But you still, based on that fear, people are pulling back with spending. And I feel to a certain degree I should do that too. So I feel like I'm living in this kind of energy of lack rather than abundance. And it's kind of bothering me, or it's propelling me to want to live in a home I don't like to save money, or live in an area I don't want to be in to save money. But I convinced myself this is the practical thing to do. So you're making the right decision.
Yeah. One of the things that's coming up to share about that idea of, what's practical is it really depends on your energy and where you are on a spiritual level, because I've gotten that for some people where they are in their spiritual goal, operating from a more kind of analytical, practical, logical way is what serves them. It does. It's not the same for everyone, but you're an older soul, you're a super manifester, and actually you don't operate well on that principle. You feel restricted. So it's kind of like, when you're a full-on adult, you cannot be managed like a child. You don't want someone telling you when to get up, what to eat, what to do, what not to do all the time. But a child needs that. They need that structure because they haven't learned yet how to make choices for themselves. So this is where I think we see a lot of struggle and frustration, because those people that need to operate kind of practically in a more kind of rule-based system and structure, they do need that, and they want that, and they want everyone to have that, because
they're very comfortable in
yeah,
that.
and that's what works for them. So they're like, this is the way that it works, and in a way they're right. It's how it works for them. But those that have moved past that and they don't need that structure anymore, it feels restrictive, it feels heavy. Now the thing is, most of the world, most of society at this point is operating in that practical, structured way, because that's where they are in their soul development. And so there's a real push-pull for those who don't operate in that way, where they've kind of shifted past that and they can just manifest kind of whatever, they want, in a much more easy, less structured way, because everyone's always telling them that's not right. The majority of people are like, that's not how it works. And again, for them, that's true. So you have to kind of like honor that, but at the same time, just honor what feels right for you, because I'm getting for you, you really operate when you can just follow the energy, what feels good for you, and honor that. And when you get in too much of a like structured, rule-based system, that's very heavy and stifling for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting how my boyfriend, he's been having dreams lately that we're breaking up soon, and he's kind of getting, there's some anxiety or things trying to protect our relationship or hold on to it with a tight grasp, because he's sensing that as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, you guys are both actually very psychic.
Yeah.
It's good. Sometimes it can also make it extra challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm getting a lot of times you've manifested his fear. So just continue to release his energy, his fear, and you can do it in a loving way. And again, this isn't about the person being good or bad, or it's just about whether there's alignment with what you want to need and what he wants and needs, and just making sure, especially since you're focused on other people, that you're really focusing on your needs.
Yeah.
Desires. I think it froze.
Hi, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, it looks like it froze for a second.
Oh yeah, that's always been a struggle for me, is just focusing on my needs, and because I was, a lot of women do, they put their other people's needs before their own.
Yeah, and I'm getting this is something you can work on. I know you hire some other people or do some other work with patterns and energy. Is definitely beliefs and patterns you've taken on from your mom, which again is really common, about the role of a woman, how to be in a relationship, and definitely some beliefs and patterns about what you can have, like how much it's okay to have. Like I'm definitely hitting some upper limit kind of problems for you, where you're like, oh wait, is it okay to have this much? I don't know if that's okay. And so just keep asking for that to continue to be shifted on that bar, to keep being raised up.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
amazing. Yeah, I'm excited to see everything that you create. You're such a powerful soul. So I'm thanking all the angels and guides, and I ask that they give very clear guidance, assistance, and support to Wendy moving forward in everything we talked about and anything else that will help her on her path. And Archangel Michael is a really great angel to help you with shifting through and clearing fear, anxiety, old situations that are no longer serving you, whatever they are. And he's amazing. So definitely keep talking to him and getting, he's one of your main guides, and he's really working with you to help you release, so much right now.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I always love talking with you and love doing readings. I always kind of learn so much, or, it brings kind of awareness to what you need to be working on and focusing on, and confirming what you kind of already know, but maybe don't want to face.
Yes. You're so psychic. So I feel like it's just for you, it's confirming what you know. And I think the more you learn to trust your higher self, your intuition, your body, because your body is just basically an extension of this higher self, then the easier things go. But you're still on your way. Like there's so many wonderful things that are going to be coming in for you.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Laura.
You're welcome. Many blessings. But thank you everybody for listening. Wendy, do you want to share any of your handles or your company, your podcast, or anything? Well,
Oh, sure. Yeah. So my website, I focus on heavy metal detoxification, but very much into bioenergetics as well. There's a big conversation we're having over there at myersdetox.com. Yeah, I have a Myers Detox podcast as well. And for anyone needing support with the kind of the stress that's happening with this coronavirus, you can go to coronavirussupportseries.com, and we've created tons of resources for people to help them through this.
amazing. Yay. Thank you so much, Wendy, for being on the show and for everything that you do.
Great. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for listening. If you want more information about me, go to my website, healingpowers.net. You can find me at Twitter at that Laura Powers, Instagram at Laura Powers 44, and on Facebook at Healing Powers.